2 and clouds at O'Hare. Next news at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer continues next on AM 560 The Answer.
Now, from the Signature Bank Studios, this is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560 The Answer.
Top of the morning, Dan and Amy. You know, I'm never one to count anybody else's money. Make all the money you can make. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I think some of these crypto guys do have too much money.
Really? Should they share it with us?
I'm saying that because a crypto guy named Justin Sun bought that banana duct tape to a wall for $6.2 million in a Sotheby's auction yesterday.
Here it is in all its splendor. We're going to begin at $800,000. $800,000. $850,000 now. $850,000, $900,000. Thank you, sir. $1,100,000 is your bid, sir. $1,200,000. $1,300,000. $1,400,000. $1,500,000.
We are looking at an ordinary banana and an ordinary piece of duct tape. However, what makes the ordinary extraordinary is the intention of the artist who put this together.
Intention was to fleece our dilettantes in the art community.
So looking for 4, there it is, $4 million. Say 5, please. $5 million. Don't let it slip away. $5,100,000.
So exciting.
The world's most expensive banana at $5,200,000. It's slipping through the auction room at $5,200,000, and I'm going to sell it here. Fair warning, at $5,200,000. The Catalan is yours. Congratulations. Thank you very much indeed. Paddle number 17.
Yeah, and it goes to 6.2 when you include all the auction house fees. But anyway, Mauricio Catalan's Comedian is the title of this work of experiential art. And what did Justin Sun say he's going to do?
What?
Well, first of all, he says it's a cultural phenomenon that bridges the worlds of art, memes, and the cryptocurrency community. Okay. Boy, you're really reading a lot into that banana. But anyway.
Where is he going to place this banana?
He plans to, quote, personally eat the banana as part of this unique artistic experience, honoring its place in both art history and pop culture, and I might add, his stomach. $6.2 million to eat a banana. Okay.
I hope it's not mealy.
On a more serious crypto note, it's just a wild story. Trump is apparently making good on what he discussed during the campaign, which is to set up a Bitcoin strategic reserve. He's reportedly set up an advisory council that includes Coinbase and Ripple, and he plans to stack Bitcoins into plans to develop a Bitcoin strategic reserve, swapping some central treasury gold for digital gold. The importance of that, well, we're pleased to have somebody who's an expert in the field on that and has called for a $250 billion strategic reserve of Bitcoin. He is Anthony Pompliano. He's founder and CEO of Professional Capital Management. His Substack is the Pomp Letter, P-O-M-P, the Pomp Letter, pomp.substack.com. He's also the author of the book, How to Live an Extraordinary Life. Anthony Pompliano, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, guys.
You weren't one of those other 5 people bidding on that banana and duct tape, were you?
No, I will leave the bananas for those people who understand why it's worth $6 million.
Okay, very good. So the importance of the Bitcoin strategic reserve and you, as I said, pegged at $250 billion would be a good start.
Yeah, my general thought process is $250 billion obviously sounds like a lot of money, but we have seen the national debt now cross over $36 trillion. The government has printed about $10 billion per day. It's like 860 billion in the last 90 days. And so we're printing the money. Rather than spend it on whatever nonsense we already are, why don't we go ahead and invest in the future and buy Bitcoin? And so whether we actually print $250 billion to buy Bitcoin or we sell $250 billion worth of gold. I think the real kind of goal here is to get Bitcoin into a strategic reserve for the United States, and then allow the United States just to wait, and that'll end up being pretty good, I think.
But I mean, does that in some respects sort of run counter to part of the philosophy by Bitcoin in the first place, which is to be sort of to transcend the state, if you will?
Yeah, one of the beautiful things about Bitcoin is that no matter how much somebody owns, they still don't control the network. If you think of in the traditional financial system, kind of whoever the richest people are, they set the rules. In Bitcoin, you can own 50% of all the coins that are out there, and you don't have any more power over the network than you or I do. And so the amount that is owned by somebody doesn't really matter in terms of that control. Now, one thing I will say is there's a lot of people who bought Bitcoin because they like the fact that it was outside of the system. And the more that is bought by financial organizations, countries, et cetera, that changes a little bit. But the control of it is still outside the system, which I think is important. And the last point I would say is that countries are already buying. El Salvador has already bought quite a bit of Bitcoin. The country of Bhutan, which I always joke no one can spell or point out in the map, they now have over $1 billion of Bitcoin on their balance sheets, about $1,500 per capita. And so, these countries, they're small. They have the ability to do it because they're not really rocking the boat of a large economy. But I think that the United States has always been a leader in innovation and financial technology, and we should go ahead and do this.
Well, how important was it to the future of Bitcoin to have a pro-crypto president be elected?
Well, it's something that Bitcoiners have talked about for a long time. I used to always say that a Bitcoiner one day will be the president, not because they're going to run on Bitcoin as a campaign topic, but because everyone's going to own Bitcoin just like they own stocks, bonds, real estate, et cetera. And so, we don't talk about the fact that there's a public equity investor in the White House right now in Joe Biden, but he owns stocks. And that was my thought process. I think that President Trump surprised a lot of people by actually making Bitcoin a campaign topic, and he ran as the first pro-Bitcoin candidate. And the market believes him, right? The market is going up because they think that he is going to, in his words, protect Bitcoin and protect the right for people to self-custody Bitcoin. And so if you put somebody in office who cares about the stock market, as Trump appears to kind of measure success of the economy based on the stock market's going to go up. If you put somebody in there who says that they are pro-Bitcoin, it's likely that Bitcoin's going to do pretty good, and so I don't think we should be surprised by the results.
Should it be a basket of cryptocurrencies in a strategic reserves, or just mainly Bitcoin? I say that because and I'm a novice here in terms of cryptocurrency, but you just see a lot of chatter about whether or not people believe that ultimately Bitcoin will be the preeminent cryptocurrency as the market develops.
Yeah, it's a fair question to ask. I think that with the invention of blockchain technology, there really was two revolutions that were kicked off. One was a monetary revolution. There seems to be two different components there. One is a store of value asset. Bitcoin is by far the leader. I think that even people who don't like Bitcoin kind of all agree that objectively it is the only and the largest in that category. There's another asset, a stable coin, which is just the dollar on a blockchain. That also comes out of that monetary revolution. We already have a lot of dollars, and so I don't think we need to put stable coins in the reserve. And then there's kind of a second part. So the monetary revolution is one, but then we have a technology revolution. And these are all of the other coins. And these other coins are no different than Amazon, Google, Facebook, et cetera. They all kind of have their different product or service they're bringing to the market, but they're not trying to be a store of value. They are ultimately trying to compete from a technological innovation standpoint. And so the United States is not in the business of trying to pick winners and losers in tech stocks. I think that the United States, if you look at the reserves today, they are in the business of holding store value assets. And, gold has been that for a very long time. I think gold will continue to be a store of value into the future. But I do think that Bitcoin now has entered the conversation as a viable store of value. And so, other countries are choosing to do it. I think that the United States should as well. But I don't think that we should go beyond Bitcoin for that strategic reserve.
I read that you started acquiring Bitcoin in 2017, and I wonder what first attracted it to you. Was it the technology or the monetary piece?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people I think that they kind of lie to themselves, and in hindsight, they want to say that they showed up because of some, ethos or some technology interest, et cetera. But 95+% of people I know who participate in financial markets, they get interested in something because they think they can make money.
Right.
That's how capitalist system works, right? Is there's economic incentives, and people risk capital in order to be able to go and get that return. Now, what's interesting about Bitcoin, and has been true for me, is although I showed up because I thought that there was the ability to make money, you begin to learn about technology, you begin to learn about geopolitics, you begin to learn about the history of money, and so it's brought me on this very interesting journey of learning. But Bitcoin does not have a corporation. It does not have a management team. There's no marketing department for Bitcoin, and so one of the things that people realize over time is that Bitcoin's price going up is the marketing campaign. Right? If you think Bitcoin is going up, you guys are talking about it. The more that happens in the news, the more that people, spread word of mouth, more and more people learn about Bitcoin. And so it's a very fascinating piece of technology. And also I think there's a kind of a human kind of adoption story that we're just starting to understand now of how something with, no coordinated centralized team behind it could end up in the hands of hundreds of millions of people today.
Do you believe that Bitcoin will be something that we do business in a substantial way in the Western world in, the foreseeable future?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think that one of the promises of Bitcoin, literally written into the white paper back in 2008, is this idea that Bitcoin would be peer-to-peer electronic cash. And really the idea is, hey, we're going to use this for transactions, kind of the proverbial, can I buy coffee with Bitcoin? You can do it. Not a lot of people do it, though. And so one of the reasons that I am very much a proponent of Bitcoin being a store of value is that if Bitcoin just becomes a store of value, it is likely to be much, much more valuable than today. There's very few digital products that are not worth more than their analog version. And so if you think of Bitcoin as digital gold, gold is 10x bigger than Bitcoin today. I think that will flip over time. I think that Bitcoin will eventually be bigger than gold. And so if you go back to this idea of using Bitcoin as a medium of exchange, it doesn't make a lot of sense for you to spend Bitcoin that is going to be worth more in the future. The reason why people spend dollars is because the dollar is going to be worth less in the future. And then you add in the fact that in the United States, we treat Bitcoin from a tax standpoint as if you are selling property every time you spend it. So if you go to dinner tonight and you buy your dinner with Bitcoin, you've got to pay for the meal, you pay for the taxes, you tip the waiter, but then you also have to pay capital gains on the Bitcoin that you spent. And so from a tax standpoint, there's disincentivization to not spend your Bitcoin. And so I think that really just being a store of value is probably a pretty good outcome, and also would lead to a lot more value accretion over time.
All right. The name of your book is How to Live an Extraordinary Life, other than accumulating Bitcoin in 2017, which we can't do anymore. No. How do you live an extraordinary life? What's your philosophy?
Yeah, it's interesting writing a book like this because you're giving advice and there's no one-size-fits-all. So the first point is just an extraordinary life is different for every individual. What your version is different than mine, and I think just having clarity around what is your version of an extraordinary life is an exercise most people don't go through, but they should. And then the second thing is I wrote 65 letters to my kids of all the life lessons I've learned over the years, but the through line or kind of the commonality across all these letters is that people have agency. And we live in a society where there's a lot of folks who are constantly telling you that, you're a victim, the world happens to you, just sit back and kind of just take the cards that you're dealt. But every successful and happy person that I know understands that they have agency, they act on the world, their outcomes are decided by the decisions that they make. And so once you understand that you have agency, it then puts you in a situation where you're kind of in control and you can go and act on the world and hopefully achieve whatever it is that you're seeking.
Well said. Anthony Pompliano, founder and CEO of Professional Capital Management. His Substack, the Pomp Letter at pomp.substack.com, and the book we were just discussing, How to Live an Extraordinary Life. Anthony Pompliano, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Hey guys, Donald Trump Jr. here with urgent news. The world's central banks are making unprecedented moves, and it's time to pay attention. In 2022 and 2023, they bought more gold than ever before. And now in 2024,